LDBC, this is your boy Coach Shelton Harrison. You're live on the Coach Shelton Harrison Boxing and MMA Show Live. And let me tell you something right now, okay? I want to talk about this word intellectual. The word is really constantly thrown around, and I hear from a lot of different people, a lot of different channels, but intellect, okay? What is having intellect? What is having that? You know, is Floyd Mayweather an intellectual? You know, a lot of people would say, heck no. Floyd Money Mayweather's not an intellectual, but, you know, I tend to disagree with that. Okay, intellect. You see, Floyd Mayweather is intellectual, and he can actually sit down and have a conversation with you on any level you want him to. You know, now Floyd Mayweather isn't highly educated, and I think that some people, they relate education to intellect. And the two are very, you know, they're so far apart that it's not even funny. Intellect and education are not the same. You see, on YouTube, I've been noticing something since I started dropping these videos. And I'm talking to a lot of guys in their 20s, man. And these guys in their 20s, I noticed something. A lot of these guys, they have a high emotion rate, man. It's crazy. You know, and I know sometimes, you know, it's okay to get emotional and passionate. It's okay. And sometimes, you know, as a man, you know, some people, you got to put your emotions in check. But I noticed that, man. But I noticed, and Blood Boxing made a video, and he made that video, and he said that, you know what, a lot of the guys that we're encountering, and the reason why that we're having so many issues on YouTube is because we're encountering a lot of these very, very young people, man. They're in their 20s. And so they don't really know how to really get into a conversation. They don't know how to have a dialogue. They don't know how to do it. And I notice when I'm talking to very young people, because the first thing they do is they come around and they do some type of insult, or they say something like derogatory towards you. So you kind of have to, you know, really put them in check. And I do it. I find myself often having to put these young guys in check. And that's who we be talking to. But education and intellect, they don't have nothing to do with each other. Because some people will clear up and down that Floyd Mayweather can't read and he's not smart and he's this and that. You know, by, you know, book standards, yeah, Floyd Mayweather probably not book smart. Probably not. He dropped out of high school. But let's look at intellect. I think Floyd Mayweather is an intellectual. I think he really is an intellectual. See, the reason why Floyd is an intellectual, because how is it, and let's just think about this, how is it that somebody can make up 3 letters, TBE, and put it on hats and t-shirts and sell it, and can make over $3 million a year just selling shirts and hats that say TBE? He just started saying it one day and put it on the shirt. How can, you know, somebody just come up with a phrase, you know, TMT, the money team, put it on hats and shirts, sell it, and he said out his own mouth one day, he said he get about $10 million off TMT gear a year. And I actually believe that. I believe he do make $10 million a year selling TMT gear, because every time you look up, somebody got on the money team. Okay? I mean, this dude make up a shirt called Money, Respect, and Power. Put it on hats and shirts. People buying it, making him another $1 million a year off that stuff. But, you know, people, we say he's not intellect. He's an intellect when it comes to business. And I think a lot of people, they miss that concept. Floyd Mayweather is a very intellectual person when it comes to business. He may not be an intellect when it comes to, you know, figuring out the space and time and you know, how to do a derivative. I'm sure Floyd Mayweather can't be an intellect on that stuff, because that's not what he is. But I think all of us have intellect in some areas, but some of us, they think intellect, they equate that to education. And I'm going to give y'all an example, and I'm going to tell y'all a story. This is a true story. Back in 2005, you know, and I told y'all my story, you know, I used to have a rare condition of the heart. And doctors would always say there's no cure for it, that eventually it'll take you out. So, you know, I was in the hospital one day, you know, trying to figure out what this was. And it's ironic, me and this guy, we had the exact same condition. Go figure that. And, you know, I figured I started talking to him. And both of us were kind of, you know, pretty bummed down about, you know, what was going on with us. And I found out that this dude was a professor of physics. Excuse me. He was a professor of... God, I'm allergic to fanboys. He was a professor of physics. And so he started telling me about physics. And I said, you know, I got one of my degrees is in physics, you know. So I started thinking about it. Yeah, you know, okay, cool. So we started talking, and we just started talking and chopping it up. And, you know, I learned a lot of stuff from this gentleman. And, you know, when I asked him, I said, you know what, man? You know, I said, some of my family members, And some of my friends who are holistic doctors, they said that, I should be able to cure this in 2 months or less. And he looked at me and he said, man, don't let these people confuse you like this. He said, these people confuse. He said, if there was a cure for it, don't you think these people would have found it? And, I sat back and I said, well, I think there's a cure already out there. I just think that maybe we ain't done enough research in this. He said, man, the doctors already did all the research on this stuff. So, I kind of got thinking about that. And I said, nah, that's a lot of baloney. It's garbage. So I started doing my own research. I cured myself. I cured myself. I got off medication myself. All medications, I got off that. I cured myself. And how I cured myself was easy. It was easy than any doctor could tell you. See, that's why when people say, well, I don't believe that Dr. Sebi cured AIDS and cancer. How? See, the intellects couldn't do it. Dr. Sebi could do it. See, a lot of times people equate intellect to education. And surely this physics professor, had a doctor, he got more education than me. But here go the difference. I survived the ordeal, and that man died. That man died maybe a month later. Had the same condition. Maybe he was a little older than me, but he died. And here's what I'm saying. You see, who was the intellect in that situation? Who was the intellect? Because there are a lot of intellectual people. They dead. I know a lot of intellectual people, they dumb as a rock. Because they don't understand about the intellect of common sense. You see, the world gets eaten up by guys like Floyd. The world get eaten up because guys like Floyd, they survive. Guys like 78, they know how to survive. Guys like me, they know how to survive. Because see, there's too many of y'all intellectuals that's running around here, but y'all can't think outside the box. And a lot of y'all can't. You can't be conscious. You can't believe that there's a cure for cancer. You can't believe that Coach Sheldon Harrison can tell you how to cure diabetes. You can't believe that there's a cure for AIDS. No, you can't believe it. But, and you still couldn't fathom that people been curing AIDS. Been curing AIDS for a long time since the inception of the disease. There are people that's been curing AIDS. Well before Dr. Sebi even thought about it. There are people all throughout history and time who've been curing cancer. All kinds of cancer. Even Dr. Sebi has cured cases of autism. People. These people are intellectual. But they're intellectual with common sense. There's too many intellectual dummies running around. And you can kind of tell. Because, see, these guys, they get eaten up. And see, let me tell you what it is. What happens to a lot of these guys that they say, hey, well, I got this intellect. That's cool. You got this intellect, but what is it doing? What is it doing for you in the long run? Because if you can't use your intellect to apply to the real world, then your intellect means absolutely nothing. Intellect means nothing if you can't apply it. And I see a lot of people, man, they versed in all these books and stuff, and it's practical. Like, there's somebody, I'll give you another example, y'all. There's somebody, I specialize in weight loss. I can tell you how to lose weight the most efficient way. And I do it the way God intended people to lose weight, by nature. And it's almost like, I'm living proof. Okay, you looking at me and you're like, hey, okay, yeah, he lost a lot of weight. I did. And then you got a person with degrees in nutrition, everything else. They got every single degree in nutrition, but they overweight, and they're trying to talk to me about what you need to eat to lose weight. And I found that kind of comical, but this person is an intellect. But where the hell is all that intellect when you can't even use it and apply it to your everyday life? Intellect means nothing if you don't know what to do with it. And there are different kinds of intellects. So I think some people think that they're intellectually superior than other people, and it's just not the case. That's just not how that is. So yeah, I think Floyd Mayweather was an intellect. Of course he is. Of course he is. You see, any man who can beat the system, that takes a degree of intellect. Is 78 sports an intellect? Absolutely. Because any man that can beat the system is an intellect. You see, when it comes to this, a lot of intellects, they didn't make it. See, I had guys that were trying to help kids just like I was. But they go into these rough neighborhoods and they try to use that intellect. And a lot of guys that I used to roll with, 15 years ago, man, they got killed in them neighborhoods. It takes a degree of intellect to survive in those neighborhoods. But they tried to do everything that they read in books, and it didn't bode well for them. It didn't bode well for them at all because they got killed. But you guys tell me what you think Intellect is. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. What are you waiting on? Subscribe.